Go ahead and picture this. You're 10 years old, your alarm rings, and it appears you've overslept. No, you're not a reincarnation of Ash Ketchum, but rather you're late for Saturday morning cartoons. Every single week of the year, these dedicated time blocks would entertain children and adults alike for hours on end. But nowadays, they're merely a thing of the past, a relic of previous generations. So for today's class session, we will take a look back at the rise of the Saturday morning cartoon, why it has seemingly faded into obscurity, and some of the various TV block options you had at your fingertips. I'm Summers with Baka Basics, and this is the rise and fall of the Saturday morning cartoon. Class is officially in session. Going back to the very beginning, Saturday cartoons were created almost as an accident. In 1949, producer Jerry Fairbanks sold NBC on the idea of a new series of cartoons developed especially for television. His first creation was a low-budget project titled Crusader Rabbit. It was a simply animated series, following the adventures of Intrepid Rabbit and his tiger sidekick. Fairbanks would go on to state that he didn't recall anything special about Saturday morning at the point, except that the networks had some vague idea that they wanted programming for kids. Fairbanks used ideas and data according to Hal Erickson's television cartoon shows, an illustrated encyclopedia. According to Erickson's findings, statistics going back to the radio years showed that the peak tune-in hours for children were between 10 a.m. and noon on Saturday mornings, as well as 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on weekdays. Crusader Rabbit was the very first cartoon created exclusively for television, and the first to take advantage of this window of opportunity to market to children. Prior to Crusader Rabbit, the only cartoons that had appeared on television were repackaged shorts originally created for the big screen. In order to keep costs down and constantly turn out new material, Ward and Anderson pared Crusader Rabbit down to its absolute bare essentials. Characters moved an average of once every 4 seconds and tended to stay in static poses. The show ran for 2 years, from 1950 to 1952. Over the next several decades, televisions would begin popping up in every household, and the continued need for entertainment grew every passing year. Animation studios began to flourish, and companies like Disney began producing television-ready shows that could be viewed every week during this time frame. Studios started making shows like the Looney Tunes to Mickey Mouse and Friends and every iteration of Scooby-Doo imaginable. Saturdays officially belonged to the cartoons. Then in 1995, Kids WB launched, and with it brought a whole new era of Saturday morning goodness. The goal of the network was to find a way to compete with the dominant Fox Kids programming block. The next 4 years would see the beginning of an animation war, but 1999 was the true turning point, as Kids WB turned to the rising popularity of the Japanese culture and landed possibly the most influential franchise in the history of media in Pokemon. The show allowed Kids WB to officially beat Fox Kids and opened the doors for future WB hits such as Card Captors, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Beautiful Joe, amongst many others. Coupled with non-anime powerhouses such as Mucha Lucha, Shaolin Showdown, The Animaniacs, and the immortal Jackie Chan Adventures. In July 2001, Kids WB weekday afternoon lineup was now rebranded as Toonami on Kids WB. Extending the newly minted Cartoon Network action animated block Toonami to broadcast television, and bringing shows such as Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, and the Powerpuff Girls along for the ride. However, the sub-block was critically panned by industry observers, who noticed that the action branding of the block did not translate content-wise. And while the cross-promotion between Cartoon Network and Kids WB did allow for series to be shared between the networks, most of these only lasted a short period of time. This included Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon appearing on Toonami on Kids WB, but only for 2 weeks, and Card Captors appearing on the main Toonami block at night on Cartoon Network, but also only for 2 weeks. In spring 2002, Kids WB announced that they would drop the Toonami name from their weekday lineup, once again making the Toonami brand exclusive to Cartoon Network. The rise of Kids WB also led to the eventual fall and rebirth of Fox Kids, which was now the newly minted Fox Box, and later renamed 4Kids TV. Now they decided was the time to get onto the anime fun, thanks to 4Kids still having rights to certain anime like Shaman King and One Piece here in the West. It was a great rise, but the fall was extremely quick for the Saturday morning cartoon block, as in 2008, the boom has finally ended. One by one, these wonderful morning blocks slowly dried up and went away. Some attempts since have been made to revive the network programming darlings, but all attempts proved to be doomed in the end. The main reason they eventually went away seems to stem from companies such as the CW, Fox, and to an extent ABC, wanting to focus more on original content and programming, whilst letting Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon be the main providers for these forms of morning entertainment. Growing up in the late 90s and early 2000s was a truly magical time to be a fan of these forms of entertainment. Some of my best memories as a kid are watching Jackie Chan with my mom, or getting my aunt and uncle to draw new ideas for Yu-Gi-Oh cards with me, or my sister and I eating snacks and watching Card Captors, or the wonderful Goosebumps franchise, which, yeah, I know that's not a cartoon, but it is when they showed them. Saturday morning cartoons helped shape who I am now as an adult. They founded my early love for these types of shows, gave me countless hours of entertainment, and convinced me that a rice ball was truly just a jelly donut. That's all for today's class session. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel for more Baka to Basic videos, and comment down below which Saturday morning cartoons you have the best memories of. I've been Summers with Baka to Basics, and I'll see you the next time class is in session.